The long-awaited massive Atlantic low pressure is in the process of spreading widespread unsettled weather across Europe. In Iberia, we have experienced torrential rainfall and strong winds since yesterday, and now we're seeing some rain showers and even isolated thunderstorms moving in behind the system, making some pretty nice scenes across parts of the country. Now back to what you can expect in today's video. I'll give you the latest updates on what the future holds for this complex of systems as they continue sliding east, as well as what could be looming on the horizon. I don't like jumping ahead to what could happen in the future without talking about the present, so let's track what's left of this system. Now there's a few things you should take note of, one of which is this line of precipitation that extends from the center of low pressure all the way to Russia. That right there is a warm front which is going to lift north in the coming days. On the southern end, rain is expected, but on the northern end, there's going to be snowfall. And then right in between that rain and snow, I'm expecting a very narrow transition zone where sleet and freezing rain is expected. In fact, it's this same warm front that's going to block colder air from getting further south. And then over Iberia, we have a smaller low pressure area that rushed in behind the initial round of rain and wind. By Saturday, things will continue to progress slowly. The strong low pressure will remain off the Irish coast, and then that warm front will break apart as it gets closer to some high pressure over northern Europe. If you were hoping for that wintry weather to stay away from the Baltic and Nordic countries, unfortunately it looks like that high pressure is going to lose this battle. The small pressure area that is over Iberia will progress inland, and then once it reaches France, it's going to take a northward turn, bringing a push of precipitation into Eastern Europe. And then that's going to eventually reach northeastern areas, leading to a renewed round of snow, sleet, and freezing rain. As that activity continues pushing north and eastward, cooler air is going to briefly make an appearance on the backside of these storms, but that's going to quickly end as more Atlantic systems move in by Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, bringing moist and warm air. Precipitation over the next 3 days should be heaviest in parts of Spain, Portugal, northern Africa, southern France, Italy, and even parts of the Balkans, especially countries closer to the Adriatic Sea. The latest snowfall outlook suggests the heaviest and most widespread snow from parts of southern Norway into Russia. Then southern Europe will see snow confined to higher elevations in places like France, Spain, Portugal, and the Alps. Here's the latest freezing rain outlook, and once again it has been spread out. The slow northward progress of a very narrow corridor of freezing rain is the main reason why you're seeing this more spread out again. But one thing that I have seen become much more consistent is this region here in Russia. That's where freezing rain is going to be heaviest and most persistent. So I wouldn't be surprised if some locations in this red outline got significant ice accretion between February 9th and the 12th. So that's the latest update on these storms. It's going to be dreary and unsettled for many parts of Europe heading into next week, but something else is going to be developing, so let's take a look at that. We're going to pick this up where we left off so I can give you a general idea of what we're going to be dealing with. As of February 12th, this weather model suggests unsettled weather still in the process of heading east, and then behind that we see more activity moving in, and it most likely will impact areas from the Iberian Peninsula up into Ireland and the UK before moving inland. The weather models have had a really hard time trying to figure out what's going to happen once we get past the middle of the month. If this high pressure over Russia was strong enough to slide westward into eastern parts of Europe, then this would have been favorable for colder air. But now the most recent model runs have suggested these low pressures spewing off the Atlantic, which would make it very difficult for this anticyclone to try moving in. This would basically keep all that cold air bottled up in northern and eastern areas, with the majority of Europe continuing under a warmer than normal pattern. Another possibility, which is being suggested by the newest GFS model runs, would be a break in the Atlantic storm sometime after February 15th, and this would allow for a window of time for higher pressure to form over Iceland and Scandinavia. Keep in mind that this exact scenario is unlikely, since it's not being supported by other weather models at this time. But as you can see here, if this was to occur, this would be much more favorable for a substantial wave of cold air. So in conclusion, what is looming on the horizon? To put it simply, a whole lot of uncertainty to say the least. But based on my analysis of the current information that we have, I think the most likely scenario to look for going forward is a continued active pattern from the Atlantic. Expect several storms coming off the Atlantic in the coming days, bringing rounds of wind and rain. As the systems move inland, we can expect some snowfall, but that will be more confined to northern Europe. And lastly, I do think colder air is coming back this month, but the exact timing and magnitude is unknown. I think the time frame to keep an eye on would be February 15th and beyond. I'll continue keeping you all updated on the situation going forward, and when I start seeing some more consistency, I'll be sure to give you an update on it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.